I've tested hundreds of incredible kitchen gadgets. This one makes homemade ice cream, an indoor grill that contains all the smoke, and a pasta maker that takes virtually no effort. And then there's this, which cracks open the top of your eggs. In this video, I'm testing 15 budget kitchen gadgets ranging from this drill for your hot dog buns to this French fry cutter. And I'm starting with this egg cracker. So you take your egg and you use the little egg cracker and you slide it on top of the egg like this, and then the bottom piece of the egg cracker pulls open and shuts quickly onto the egg. Apparently it gets rid of the whole top of the egg for you to make it easy to pour into something. So let's try it out. I'm lining it up here. Hold the bottom, pull the top. The egg itself, you can see that little break on it. Let's see if it pulls off. Not in one piece. Thought it would be super satisfying. It's definitely helping me peel it along the lines right here. I'm gonna try cracking it once more and see if I can get it a little bit of a stronger of a crack there. And maybe now it'll peel off for me. That is definitely more satisfying this time, but definitely not perfect. However, from here you can easily pour the egg out so you don't have to crack it yourself. And you can actually see some shell did come with it, so I think when I cracked it, it fell into there a little bit. I'm gonna give it one more shot just in case it was an user error. I'll go a little bit harder on the crack this time, pretty much as far as I can pull that thing upwards. Let's see if it comes off easier this time. And actually, yeah, on my second try there, that is looking pretty good. It'll definitely pour from right there. And this time I don't see any shells in there. So after a little practice, it does work. It's not super necessary. You could just crack an egg like normal, but if you struggle with that, it'll help you out. I'm gonna put this in B tier. This fish is an egg separator. It's supposed to help you separate the yolks from the egg whites if you want them to be. So from those eggs that we just cracked, I'm gonna use this little fish guy. You basically just squeeze him like this onto the yolk, and it's supposed to pull only the yolk into him. So let's give that a shot. I'm gonna squeeze, go up to the yolk, and he didn't suck anything on the first try. Maybe I'll go closer before I squeeze. Let's try that. There we go. We actually got only the egg yolk inside of our fish right here, and the whites were completely left in the bowl. And then you could take the yolk and just put it into another dish for just using it, and you can see not a single piece of the egg whites came with it. But the thing is, you could actually do this just with your hand, or you can use a plastic water bottle to do the exact same thing that this fish does. So it works, but there's great alternatives. This is going in C tier. This thing makes mini pretzels inside of it. Now you can either make your own dough or buy it from the store. I want to test their dough recipe, so I'm gonna make my own. Starting with warm water and active dry yeast, stirring that together. Stir in sugar and salt and mix that, and then add in bread flour and regular flour and knead this together until the dough is smooth. After kneading this for about 5 to 10 minutes, it's pretty smooth. It's super elasticy like they want, so I'm gonna throw this back into the bowl and let it rise for the next 30 minutes. This apparently cuts a hole in your hot dog bun so you can slide the hot dog in and eat it a little bit easier. So let's give this a shot. I'm just gonna start twisting it into the side of the hot dog bun right here. It's kind of folding in, but working a little bit, I guess. And I think it's just opening the hot dog bun. So I put the drill all the way through, but we're just at the same spot that we started with this hot dog bun, except it might even be a little bit more flimsy because I opened it a little bit more. I don't know if there's hot dog buns that you have to manually cut rather than them being pre-sliced. I've never seen them, but honestly, this product does nothing. I'm gonna have to put it in F tier. These things attach onto your oven racks, allowing you to safely grab it and pull the oven open even when it's hot. So right now this is off, and all you do is open up the little silicone pieces right here and attach it onto the metal thing. So you kind of just start on one end and open it up a little bit, attaching it on at a time, and then you can kind of push on the rest slowly because that opening will basically follow you along as you go. And then once you have it fully on there, you can go ahead and use your oven as normal. They are fully heat proof, and then you'll pull it out from that silicone piece right there. As you can see, I've already turned on the bottom of the oven here with one of those silicone racks on it. This is at 450 degrees. It is super hot inside of here. I'm gonna try grabbing that silicone piece a little bit carefully just in case. It's really, really hot. I can't even touch it. It's burning my finger. maybe a little bit less than the actual rack, but there's absolutely no way I can pull this by that piece right there. And after looking at the product box again, it does say it is only heat resistant up to 446 degrees. I set my oven at 450, and we all know ovens are variable, so maybe it's a little bit even hotter than that. I'm gonna turn the top to 350 and try again. The top oven here is now at 350. Let's see if the silicone helps this time. I'm gonna slowly touch it again, and actually I can hold my finger on it for a couple of seconds, and while it's warm, I can slowly pull it out. This thing is definitely still hot, but way less hot than the actual rack would be. Because it doesn't fully heat-proof the shelves, it makes it pretty pointless to have these on there. I'm gonna put this in D tier. Our dough has now finished rising for the last 30 minutes. We're now gonna roll it out, and it says to form it into pretzel shapes. I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was gonna form the shapes for me. It's gonna be difficult to get it to the exact shapes of the plate, but let's use a rolling pin and roll this out a bit first. I took off a piece of the dough now, and I'm gonna try and form it into the same pretzel shape that you can see on the plate right here. So I think we've kind of got it like this, and then maybe you just fold it over a bit. I have no idea how to make a pretzel shape. I've formed one into the closest pretzel shape I could get. Now it dips into a water and baking soda bath. There we go. And then the pretzel goes right onto the hot plate right here. Because I think it's silly that you have to form your own pretzels, I'm actually gonna try with just a blob of dough too, dip this into the solution, and just put that right on the hot plate too, and see if it'll just form me a pretzel. So let's get this closed and cook. It's been about 4 or 5 minutes. I wanna check on these pretzels now. I can already tell that it looks like I used too much dough, but aside from that, I want to see how they are so far. So weirdly, it formed a pretzel shape in my dough, but the dough is way too thick for it right there. As you can see, we're kind of getting a pretzel on both sides. The one where I didn't shape it is basically just a doughy mess right now. I'm gonna try once more with a super thin piece of dough, much smaller, and I'm gonna go unshaped on it because it did seem to shape the dough for us. So let's just get that in there, kind of fill in the holes a little bit, and let's cook this again for 3 to 7 minutes until it looks ready. All right, it's now been 5 to 7 minutes. Let's check on our final pretzel, and this one is definitely looking much better. There's still some extra dough. Let's get this out of here. Seems like I should have sprayed it a little to get it out of there a little easier. And here is our final result. Definitely not the prettiest pretzel in the world with all this extra dough, but it does feel nice and cooked and crispy this time. Let's break it in half and check the inside, and looks nice and cooked through on the inside. But now for the ultimate test, the taste test. So even without butter and pretzel salt on these, it's actually amazing. It tastes so good, and I'm glad I didn't have to form them into pretzels inside the machine. Because it's a little bit messy and takes quite a bit of work to get to here, but it makes absolutely delicious pretzels. I'm putting this one in A tier. This thing apparently helps you peel corn. I've got a boiled slice of corn right here. I'm just gonna run it down the sides and see how easy it is to peel the corn from it. Looks like you kind of grip it like this with part of it on the inside, then maybe just move down. Looking pretty good so far. On the side seems to be easier. It's hot to hold, but other than that, I mean, this peeler is fantastic. The only hard part is getting it started on the very top pieces right there, but once it's started, this thing slides down and peels all of the corn extremely easily and well. So here's the side with our corn actually peeled, and the side I haven't peeled yet. You can see the clear difference, and I've gotten every single kernel off of this side. This gadget does exactly what it claims to. It makes peeling corn super easily. However, you could do something very similar with a knife and just run a knife down the side. This is a little bit safer, so I'm gonna give this A tier. This gadget helps you open up the tabs on cans. So as you can see on the gadget, it has the little hole right here, which is where you fit the little tab under, and then you kind of use leverage from it to pull open the can. Let's give it a shot. I'm gonna slide it under the tab right here, and it is pulling it up nicely for me. It's basically doing all the work. I've got it under there, and now I'm gonna grab the handle and just twist backwards. And I'm not sure how this is actually gonna open it from this angle. Oh, like that. And then from here, I'm gonna pull the tab inwards. so that it kind of cracks it open. Maybe it needs a little more leverage to get it fully open. Honestly, it got it to right here, and from here, all you have to do is push the tab down, although it kind of seems to have broken the tab on my drink. I guess I could push down here and finish opening it like that. I think I might have done it slightly wrong. I'm gonna retry this once more. So once again, I'm gonna slide it under the back of the tab right here, because that is definitely what I would do with my hand. And then I'm gonna finish pulling this tab towards the opening by bringing this up and down. And there we go, it definitely did open the can. I honestly found this more difficult than just using my hand to open this up. It's a little bit complicated to get at the right angle. However, if you have some sort of mobility issues, if your fingernails are gonna get broken from pulling it open, I do see an use case for this. I'm gonna put it at B tier. This crazy looking contraption helps you make burgers out of ground meat. So you basically just open this up and put a ground beef ball on the inside. I just quickly formed that out of ground beef. And then you close the lid all the way shut. From here, you can decide how thick or thin you want the patties by twisting this little gadget right here. I'm leaving it at, I believe, the thinnest possible for now, pushing the lid down, and then you finish it off by pushing this top piece down, which is pretty difficult to press, so I'm guessing that the burger is already fully pressed in. And then you keep pushing that down a little bit while you lift the lid, and it does form this patty right here. Now, mine is super thin. I think I didn't use enough ground beef. Let's try it again with a little bit more. I'm going in with a bigger ball this time on the same thickness setting. Let's do the exact same thing. Push down, push this piece down, and lift. And this is actually quite a good looking patty this time. It's nice and thin, maybe 1/8 of an inch thin-ish, and it's nice and round as well. I'm now gonna twist this to the thickest setting and see how thick of a patty I can make also. Just twist it all the way open. Let's open it up and get another ground beef ball inside of there and do the same exact thing. It is really easy to form these into patties. I'm shocked at how little the top piece does. I don't feel like I'm pushing it in very much. Let's see what this formed. And there is the result of this one. It's a little bit uneven all the way through and does seem to be breaking up a bit. And all I did was use ground beef. You can see the thickness is much more, and there's the result of our patty. So I think this burger press has potential to work, but honestly, I can't seem to get uniform patties out of it, and half of the time it seems to be breaking up when I'm making the patties. And I also think it's pretty simple to just flatten out ground beef into your own patties. I'm gonna put this one in D tier. This is a kettle that basically fits in the palm of my hand. To open it up, all you do is pull upwards, and it goes from the collapsed state to a fully ready to use kettle that you just have to plug in. I've got it filled with water just to make sure that the water actually boils, turned on. Let's leave that for a couple minutes and see if the water boils. In the meantime, this is supposed to help you slice hard-boiled eggs. So you take the egg and you put it into this bottom piece right here, and these blades are apparently gonna help cut the egg. Let's just push down and see what happens. Okay, that was actually super satisfying. And look how perfect each of these egg slices are. They're nice and bite-sized. A couple of them did fall apart, but that was probably from me being a little too aggressive with it. Overall, this one's perfect. It does exactly what it says. Again, you could use a knife to do this, but this is way quicker and way safer. I'm gonna put this one in A tier also. It's now been about 5 minutes since I started boiling the water, and it just finished boiling also. It auto shut off, so you don't have to worry about that. And our water is clearly boiling hot on the inside. And then when you're all done with the water, all you do is fold this back up, folds right into itself nice and easily, and it's super small for storage. So if you don't want to take up a ton of space with a kettle, this one fits right into a cupboard or pantry really easily. This folding kettle is gonna be our first S tier of the video because there's nothing like it. If you ever had Uncrustables as a child, this gadget helps you make them again and relive that nostalgia. I've got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich right here. I'm gonna flatten it with the other side. Then all you do is take the larger ring of the gadget and put it in the middle of the toast, push all the way down, just like that. And then you take the second ring with the ridged bottom on there and push that through this side, which helps seal it off. Twist a little bit, and you can already see the crust is falling out of the outside, which is exactly what we want here. And then hopefully on the inside, we have that Uncrustable. So I can see the texture already. Unfortunately, it's looking like a bit of a fail. I mean, it didn't fully seal it off for me. Maybe I'm gonna try once again sealing this side also. Let's get that pushed down and twist on this side, and then pull the inside up here. And there we go. I think it's working this time. I did have to do it on both sides. Maybe that was an user error, but now we definitely have an Uncrustable. And let's do a taste test with it. That is pure nostalgia in a bite right there. Honestly, delicious. I absolutely love this one. I think this would be hard to do without this gadget. However, I did have to do it on both sides of the toast. For that reason, I'm putting this in A tier. This is a kitchen scale that's only a couple inches long, barely bigger than the size of my hand. What you do is you just pull open the two arms of this and they lock into place so it doesn't move for you. And it forms a scale that you can use right here. You can see the grips on the bottom of it also, so that it doesn't slide around. And the screen, basically you just hit the power button. You can zero it with the power button or go ahead and choose your units that you want to measure in. So it does grams, ounces, and other units as well. So you just use it like a regular scale. I'll just throw a cup in the middle to measure with, zero it out, and then pour in water. Let's say I want 100 milliliters of water, and there we go. Our scale is reading it, and we have 105 milliliters of water. Then when you're not using the scale, it folds right back up to store pretty much anywhere you want to put this. Every other scale I've ever bought and tried is large and bulky and doesn't fit everywhere. This is the smallest one I've seen. For that reason, it's S tier. This is a rice cooker that helps you cook perfect rice every time. You use their included cup to measure out the rice and pour it in. And then you pour in water up to the measurements right here. I did 1 cup of rice, so I'm just gonna go to the 1 in there with water. And then the lid goes on, this plugs in, and you start cooking the rice until the red dot goes off and it lets you know that your rice is ready. Once this is ready, I'll be back to show you the results. This wild looking device helps you turn potatoes into French fries. I've already got it assembled, and now all you have to do is suction cup the bottom there to the actual table so that it doesn't move while you're cutting. And then use this lever arm right here to pull the blade backwards so it's all opened up. And then they recommend to cut the edge of the potato off, so that's what I've done. It goes into here like this, being very careful. And then you grab this arm right here and quickly move it forwards. So let's go ahead and try that out. And on our first try, it didn't make it all the way through. I'm gonna try and hold it down a little bit and push again. Unfortunately, as you can see, the potato is starting to come through, but it is really hard to get the potato all the way through those blades. And after jamming that through about 40 times, it did make perfect sized French fries that are going to be delicious. I think the biggest problem with this is that the suction cup on the bottom doesn't hold super well, so as I'm shoving this forward, it's kind of just sliding with it a little bit and I'm losing a lot of the power. I'm trying this once more, holding down this end with a little bit more leverage. And once again, it does turn it into French fries, but it takes a lot of effort to push this through the French fry cutter. The other downfall is this thing is massive for storage. I mean, where are you gonna put this? For all those reasons, I'm putting this one in C tier. Because our last French fry gadget failed, these are gonna help us make crinkle cut French fries. It comes with 3 different blades depending on the size of your potato, and I think this one is gonna work best. Basically, it looks like you use this like a knife and you just go down and start cutting slices, and you can already see the crinkles in these slices right here so far, which is definitely awesome. It's actually really easy to use too. It's about as easy as cutting through with a knife, it feels like. And then if you want them a little bit thinner, I think you can actually just go across like this and kind of make them into stripped fries instead. Here is what they actually look like once you cut them into French fry shapes. This one is brilliant. It's easy to use and actually makes us French fries a lot easier than the last one. I'm gonna put this one in S tier. And after 15 minutes, our rice cooker now says warm, so let's get it opened up and see how it looks. There's our rice, and it says to use this little spatula to kind of finish out the moisture here, mix it up a bit, and then we are all set. We have perfectly cooked rice ready to eat. I've been using regular pots and the Instant Pot to cook rice for a while, and it never comes out consistently good. I think a rice cooker is actually pretty critical, and this one was super easy to use. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Don't forget to subscribe for more.